Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon, and here we play Jank. And today I'm going over the Marnie and Steven rival battle decks. That's right, Slip helped me record a match where they played the Marnie deck, I played the Steven deck, and we saw how good these decks were. It was a lot of fun. Can't wait for you to see that match, which will be after I do the deck profiles. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into that. For the first deck, we're going to be going through Marnie's deck here. And the main star, in my opinion, is the Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. Not only is it a deck that, a card that is rising in popularity in the meta, it's just such a powerful card. It's like Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames powerful, because it's very similar to Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames. Let me explain. So we've got the Punk Up ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to five basic darkness energy and attach them to your Marnie's Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. Charizard famously got 3 energy. Charizard required 2 for its attack, but then you had that extra one that you could place anywhere. Grimmsnarl only needs 2 energy for its attack, so that gives you 3 energy that you can place onto any of your Marnie's Pokemon. A little bit more restrictive, where Charizard could put it on anyone, Grimmsnarl can only put it on Marnie's Pokemon. And then Shadow Bullet, 180. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So not only are you hitting, like, you're 2-hitting everything, then you're also setting up knockouts or taking cheeky basic Pokemon knockouts or Pidoo knockouts with the 30 damage to the bench, right? Super powerful, super awesome, kind of the core of the Marnie deck. Next up, we've got Marnie's Morpeko, which also is very important to the Marnie deck. See, for 3 colorless energy, Spiky Wheel, this attack does 40 more damage for each darkness energy attached to this Pokemon. So, Grimmsnarl can attach 5. Then you attach 1 for your turn. That's 6, right? So you get 6 energy on this Marnie's Morpeko. How much damage does that do? Let's see. 6 times 4, 240 plus 20, 260 damage. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Coming from such a tiny guy, that's a lot of damage. So, Marnie's Morpeko is fantastic. It can be powered up super easily, and it can reach unlimited numbers, right? It's one of those cards where the more energy you put on it, the higher damage it does, so there really is no cap. The only cap is how much energy you can actually get on there. Imagine hitting 2 Grimmsnarls on the same turn. You put 10 energy on there, then you throw on 1 more for good luck, right? You're doing, what is that? 500 damage. No. 460 damage. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Next up, we got Marnie's Purloin, which evolves into Marnie's Liepard, which for 2 energy, Pointy Claws, 70 plus, if your opponent's active Pokemon is an EX, this attack does 70 more, meaning you do 140, and if it's weak to darkness, you're doing 280, and that still isn't enough to knock out a Gardevoir EX. That's my biggest issue here. If Pointy Claws did, how much more? I think only 20 more damage. If it was 160 plus, or times 2, that'd be 320. That would be knocking out a Gardevoir EX. And yet, it would still be disappointing to only be hitting regular EXs at 160. So yeah, it's not bad, it's not great. Marnie Scraggy. Now I do want to point this one out. For 3 energy, does Crunch for 50 damage, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. That can be very powerful. That's a decent amount of damage, and it's a guaranteed energy discard, which I like those. I've built a couple popper decks that use that strategy. Most recent one, I believe, was Gumshoes, which for 2 energy, but that was on a stage 1. This is a basic, right? It's something to keep in mind when you're playing. But it does evolve into Marnie's Scrafty. And Marnie's Scrafty, wild tackled, hits that 160 we were talking about, being disappointed that Marnie's Lipard didn't hit. Scrafty is able to hit it. However, it does 30 damage to itself. Not only does it cost 1 more energy than Lipard to get that extra 20 damage, you also deal 30 damage to yourself. Which, I mean, fair's fair, you know? Buddy Buddy Poffin can get you all of your basics, I believe. Energy Recycler, because when Pokemon get knocked out, namely Morpeko, you're going to need to get that energy back, right? And you want it back into the deck, so when you evolve another Grimmsnarl, you get it. You get all that energy back out onto the Rare Candy, so you can get to your Grimmsnarl EX a lot faster. Super Rod to recover anything you may need, such as an Impidimp or Morgrim that got knocked out early or discarded early, or stuff like that. We got Switch, because you don't want to waste any energy retreating. You've got Ultra Ball to search out your evolutions mostly. You've got Spikemouth Gym, which just lets you search out for any of your Marnie's Pokemon. It's absolutely ridiculous that this is a card, in my opinion. Ridiculous. So good. Boss's Orders, you know, one of the best cards in the game. Lets you target down a particular Pokemon. We got Drayton, which lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, find a Pokemon, find a trainer, and yeah, it's decent search. It's a Great Ball mixed with a Pokegear, basically, but it doesn't have to be a supporter. It can be any trainer, which is good. We got Iono, great disruption, great card draw. Professor's Research, best card draw in the game. XP Share, this is important, right? You put this on your Morpeko, because when your Grimmsnarl gets knocked out, one of those 2 energies will then go onto your Morpeko, which will just make it more powerful, which is a good thing, you know? We got basic Dark Energy, and we're back up to Impidimp, Morgrim, and Grimmsnarl. So that was the Marnie deck. Why don't we check out the Steven deck as well? The Steven deck is set up slightly differently, so gonna make it a little bit harder to scroll, but I'll get through it. Steven's Metagross EX is kind of the star of the deck, right? And it's got X Boost, which is another energy accelerant. However, this thing's a bit interesting. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a basic Psychic Energy card, a basic Metal Energy card, or one of each, and attach them to your Psychic and Metal Pokemon in any way you like, then shuffle your deck. So I really like that this energy acceleration is for anyone. That makes this Steven's Metagross good outside of just Steven's decks, unlike Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Steven's Metagross does have a 3 energy attack for 200, which if you do 1 X boost, get a Metal and a Psychic, and then attach whatever you have in hand, that's all 3 energy and you're doing 200 damage, which is more than Grimmsnarl's doing, but not by much. And it doesn't hit the bench like the Grimmsnarl does. But I still really like Steven's Metagross EX. I think it's really good. What else do we have in here? Skarmory. Steven's Skarmory is fascinating. I might try building something with this in Popper. I haven't yet decided, but we got 2 energy Razor Wing 30, no one cares. 3 energy Sonic Double, this attack does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, meaning it can hit 2 benched Pokemon for 50 damage. That is a good chunk of change in Popper, and so I really like this Steven's Skarmory. I think there's some fun to be had with it. Next up, I want to talk about Steven's Carbink, because this is one of the cores of the Steven strategy. Stone Palace, as long as this Pokemon is on your bench, all of your Steven's Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. 30 less damage is great. Against a Grimmsnarl, that means you're not getting the bench hit, and Grimmsnarl is only hitting 150. That will be important in the match that you watch after this. So it's definitely something to keep in mind, and a very good card. Next, we've got Steven's Claydol. 1 energy, Eerie Light, 20 damage, and Confusion. Confusion is amazing. I think it's the best status condition in the game because of how easy you can get it and how difficult it is for your opponent to play around it. And then for 3 energy, Clay Blast, that does 220, and you discard all energy from this Pokemon. If that was only discard 1 energy or even 2 energy, I would like it a lot more. But it's discard all energy, which does not make Clay Blast really worth it. Yes, it can hit better than the Metagross, but then you gotta power it up again, and that's the tough part. Alright, those are all the Pokemon. Let's see what is in the deck trainer-wise. And we got Buddy Poffin, which can grab most of your basics. It can't grab your Skarmory, really. Or your Carbink, because Carbink has 80 HP. So, Buddy Poffin, not as good in Steven's deck as Marnie's deck, because like everything could be grabbed with Marnie's deck. But with Steven's, you are limited. Energy Recycler, recover energy. Metagross EX has a energy accelerant ability, so yeah, this is needed. Rare Candy to get to your Metagross EX faster. Super Rod to recover any Pokemon. You can also recover energy this way that you may need. Switch. Ultra Ball to search out mostly your evolutions or your Skarmory or Carbink. Granite Cave. This is another Steven's card. Steven's Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. Unlikely your opponent's going to be playing Steven unless you both buy the Steven deck, you know what I mean? So Steven's Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. From the opponent's Pokemon. Right, so your Steven's Pokemon will take 30 less. That means with Carbink, that's 60 less, which is pretty darn cool. We got Boss's Orders. In Drayton, I explained those before. Same with Iono, Professor's Research, EXP Share, Basic Metal Energy, and Basic Grass Energy. Alright, those were the decks. I hope you enjoyed these rundowns. Now, check out the game that's going to be starting here on your screen in just a second. Alright, we got Slip from the Discord helping me out with this video, and he's playing the Marnie deck. I'm playing Steven's deck. Let's see which one's better. Although I think everyone knows which one's better already, I still want to play this out and see what happens, right? So if you get the Marnie deck, you can expect a similar experience to what Slip is going to have. And if you get the Steven's deck, you can expect to get a similar experience to what I have. So let's see. I will go first. Okay, that's a little interesting. I would have expected to go second. Skarmory. Right, let's throw that down. And we get Granite Cave here. Now, I did not go through the... Wow, they started with their promo. That's cool. Lucky them. Just Metal Energy. Pass. That's it. That's all I can do. But it doesn't seem like they're going to get their stuff very fast either, you know? Then I can put 30 onto Morpeko. And then the following turn I can Sonic Double and get Morpeko and put damage on another Pokemon. Looks like Scraggy can be that Pokemon of choice. I do apologize. I have my lunch here. Eating while recording. This is when people were available to record. And I did not budget my time correctly today. So, yeah. Yeah, I've also recorded another video today. Oh, okay. Let's draw a card. Okay, that's not bad. That's a really good, like, setup thing. Buddy Poffin coming out here. We get a Beldum. Let's just get 2 Beldums, I think. Honestly. Like, honestly. Alright, we got this going here. Ultra Ball. No, I'm not going to play that Ultra Ball. I am going to play Granite Cave, though, I believe. Yeah. Let's play down that Granite Cave. We're going to Razor Wing now. I do know Impidimp evolves eventually into Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl EX kind of is the focus of the deck. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep that in check, right? That's going to be my target here. Yes, I do know a little bit about the deck, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can make this work. There goes the research. Oh, discarding a Grimmsnarl. No way. Ultra Ball here. What are they going to do? More Grim. Are they going to evolve the active? They are. No, the benched. Okay. Okay. They want to make sure they get that Grimmsnarl out, you know? Alright, we're going to get Matang. Now we can Ultra Ball away at Professor's Research and a rare candy, which I'm not too excited about. I'm psyched that they gave rare candy in this starter deck. You know what I mean? I'm gonna grab Carbink, I think. Honestly. Like, that's just more protection on myself, which I desperately need right now. There goes Carbink, and then I'm gonna play Professor's Research for a brand new hand. Beautiful. We can throw out another Beldum. We can throw out a Baltoy. I did not get a Metal Energy. Yikes. I was really banking on that. What does this do? Confusion. Ooh, I do love me some Confusion. So let's throw down a Psychic Energy onto Baltoy there. And then we'll just Razor Wing again. Dang, I was really planning on getting a Metal Energy. The fact I didn't? I think that is going to be one downside of Steven, is that it has two different types of energy in the deck, where Marnie's is just dark all the way, which definitely helps them out quite a bit. There's that Grimmsnarl. They're going to get 5 energy from the deck, place it where they want. Grimmsnarl requires 2 energy. They're ready to go with Shadow Bullet. Even with the minus, what is it, 60 damage that I'd be taking right now, 180 would lower down to 120, the perfect number to knock out this Skarmory, sadly. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what it is, you know? Yep, they're going to retreat. Grimmsnarl. Get the attack off, but the extra damage, the 30 to your bench, will be negated by Carbink and Granite Cave. Oh, cool. Just had the TCG player order come through. So thank you for supporting the channel and my family and all that stuff. Appreciate ya. Alright, I am going to throw at Baltoy. Baltoy is going to get the Confusion on them, which I think is going to be huge, right? Because we got the Claydol already. Whoop. Yep. We do got the Beldum. Let's throw that down. We got the Psychic Energy. I'm going to throw that down onto... Matang. And then we're going to play Iono. Yeah, it gives them a little bit bigger hand, but we are struggling here. So let's see. What do we get? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Holy cow. That was terrible. I can Super Rod stuff back, but all we're going to do is Eerie Light. Let's get that Confusion going. I did say at the beginning of this video that I think Marnie is better, you know, but we'll just have to wait and see if Stevens can pull anything off. Quite a turn that they've had this turn. Lots of stuff going on. I don't even know what Metagross does, you know? There's a switch into Scrafty. Scrafty can do Wild Tackle and get the knockout, but it does damage itself. What do I put up now? I have no idea. A Beldum? Sure, why not? Why not? We'll throw up a Beldum. I get another Matang. What does this do? Search your deck for a Marnie Pokemon. Not gonna help out. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and use it though. Let's see. Let's just see, right? Metagross EX. You may search your deck for a basic Psychic and basic Metal and or one of each and attach them to your psychic or metal Pokemon and what you like, then shuffle your deck. Okay, it's a bit more neutral, which I like. It's not just Marnie's or Steven's Pokemon that can accelerate to. It can accelerate to anything. Then I could boss up. What would be a decent stall? Not that for sure, but that one could be. Let's boss up Liepard and just stall them, right? Now what are they gonna do? All they gotta do is attach an energy and retreat, but if they don't have an energy, because they took them all out, because they got so much out, they got 3 in the discard and 8 here out on the field. If they don't have any more darkness energy, then I could possibly stall them for yet another turn. Ultra Ball, interesting. What are they searching for? I would assume Grimmsnarl, but it's in the discard. Did they forget that? It's in the discard pile. Hey, props to me if they did forget. Ah, dang, they had the energy to use. Probably gonna put up, is it gonna be Scrafty again? Maybe Morpeko? What does Morpeko do? Oh, okay, so Morpeko doesn't mind being on the bench with the EXP share, you know? I do wonder if there's another deck without Grimmsnarl that Morpeko could work in. I might have to look into that. Is there a Heavy Baton Dark Pokemon? I almost said another word. I'm glad I didn't. Okay, they've got 3. I'm gonna let them KO Steven here on the artwork. I was gonna try to hold that off. Hold on to this card the entire time, you know, but research, interesting. So I can Super Rod. Just energy back? Yeah, just energy back in, right? I'll attach, and then I'm gonna Professor's Research. Oh my gosh, at least we got Ultra Ball, right? We got Ultra Ball, which is nice, definitely. 1, a 2. I'm just hoping we still have energy left in the deck. Let's find out. We do. We still got plenty of energy. Cool. Let's get Metagross out here. Metagross EX. Does not matter where I put it. Let's use that ability, X-Boot. Here we go. 1, 2, done. Attach them to Metagross. Retreat. Bring up Metagross. And finally take our first prize. Taking our first prize. Oh man, that's frustrating. There we go. 1 prize. Thank you. Alright. Back to my food, because I am hungry. Grimmsnarl comes into the active. Okay, that's a 2-hit KO for both of us. Right? Well, wait, 160... Well, wait, 150 is not a 2-hit KO. That's a 3-hit KO on to Metagross because of the Carbink. That's awesome. Thank you, Carbink. I am such a messy eater. I do apologize. All right. I was going to say, what more could they have at this point? Energy Recycler. Ooh, that's scary. Doesn't matter where you put the damage. Carbink negates it. Heck yeah. Rare, let's see. Ultra Ball will get rid of the rare candy and the psychic energy, I believe. And we'll just go ahead and grab another Metagross here. Jeez. Getting hair and everything. It's annoying. But we can X-Boot, get this Metagross on the bench ready to go, right? Oh, thanks, Sophie. That one and that one. Then we can just, I don't know. Ooh, we got Skarmory. I didn't know we had another basic in the deck. I just wasn't paying enough attention, I guess. Yeah, we can play that down and put a Metal Energy on it, and then go ahead and do 200. And that can be nice, because that's, you know, 50-50, 50 damage to 2 Pokemon, and that can really set us up in the future, you know? We got Drayton here, which can practically search our entire deck. I'm hoping I flooded their hand with energy. That's the plan. The only downside to that is Marnie's Morpeko being able to possibly get an easy KO somewhere. Well, oh, they're going to retreat now? They're retreating now? Now is that time? Okay, okay. Just barely getting the KO. Just barely. I want to point that out, right? And then I can throw up my Metagross. And I can just get KO after KO. X-Boot. I'm going to put another Metal Energy on the Skarmory. I got Sophie hair all over me. Okay, if they ever get that Grimmsnarl, I will be in trouble, I think. Because they could just load up that Morpeko, you know what I mean? The other Morpeko. Okay, do they have Night Stretcher or something to get that Grimmsnarl to accelerate energy? No, they do not. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. That Grimmsnarl just needs one more hit, and it's KO'd. I think that Iono did a lot more damage than any of us spectating expected. Yeah, that had to have done a lot more damage than we expected. Holy cow. Put a Metal Energy there. And, yeah, we'll just Metal Stomp. I don't see a reason to do much of anything else. Let's get rid of that Morpeko. What are they going to put up now? Professor's Research. Nice. Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl will do 150. Yep. Boss's orders. Dang it. Congrats to Slip. They deserved it. They did phenomenal. I was kind of struggling there. I finally got the upper hand, but they had the boss's orders just waiting. I had to discard mine for my one other one that I had that I didn't play, that I had to discard for Professor's Research. That was a lot of fun. Slip, thank you so much for letting me record this. Everyone out there, I hope you saw both decks in action doing what they needed to do. Marnie's Grimmsnarl just came out on top, and it does seem like in the meta, Marnie's Grimmsnarl is the one to choose. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you, especially my members, being Phil across the pond, Clinton, and the Link Hawkins. Yeah, you guys are fantastic. You can join my membership by just clicking the join button down below if you're already subscribed. Subscribe if you're not. That's free. And you can check out my Discord, all that stuff. Thank you so much. And of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.